What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, get myself set up. And I will say, as I dive into this, um, our AC broke within this week. So, yeah, I'm waiting on a call from the plumbing and cooling place to hit me up. They said anytime after noon Central Time. So that's where I'm at. So if I take a call from a number, just know that's why. And I'll just abrupt this. I'll leave this, just dip out, and yeah, and I'll circle back around and I'll finish up some other time. But yeah, that's way more important. It was like 86 degrees in my kiddos' rooms last night. Like we were roasting. So we had to take our whole family, go downstairs into our Four Seasons where we had at least that separate AC system blasting. Yeah, it's been pretty brutal the last 2 days. In Iowa, we decided to skip spring. We go from 45, 55 degree, rainy, cold, windy weather over the last month or so, going right into 88, 90 degrees within the last couple of days. It's been pretty brutal. So it is what it is. We respond. But yeah, if I just stop abruptly, that's why, because I've been waiting on a phone call. So what's going on, Kyle? What's going on, Steph? Steph literally just jumped off a text with you, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably sounded like a jerk. I was like, oh my gosh, BitBoy Crypto. Yeah, that dude's a turd. There's a lot of bad information that got shared about him months ago on Twitter. A lot of bad YouTube influencers to not listen. And all his prediction, all he does is pump really bad stuff on his followers. Yeah, lots to learn in this space. I used to follow a lot of bad crypto influencers. So I have a handful I'll pay attention to now that aren't shills. But let's dive into this one. So this one's all about veggies or dessert. Which one should you eat first? And if you're listening in or you saw the YouTube thumbnail, you know where this is going. So I'm going to move my face over here. Actually, I like it on this side where I don't have to look at myself. It makes me so uncomfortable. Take myself a little swig of coffee and we're going to jump right in. I like to cover up how many people are viewing. That way I don't get in my head. Just know I would ever just jump in and crush this with just one person live or 0 people live. I really don't care. So Katie, what's going on? Steph, Kyle, whoever else is watching or watching the replay, you're in for a tasty treat maybe, but not in the form of dessert. So this is Coach Scotty.D.Russell. In today's video, I'm giving you some compelling reasons why you should be eating your veggies first. If you're struggling to gain traction, see results, or just stay focused with whatever you're building, your creative business, whatever type of side hustle pursuit you have, building your personal brand, yada, yada, yada. Maybe you've been at it for a while. Maybe you've been doing it just for a little bit of time. You're just stuck. Chances are you might be just eating your vegetables first, or you might not be eating your vegetables first, which I think you should. In most case scenarios and the people I talk to, you're probably eating dessert first because why not? It's the most fun. It's the easiest. And then next thing you know, you're probably pushing around the rest of your veggies and all the sides that are on your plate to make yourself look busy. And at the end of the day, you didn't do anything that truly benefited you from a nutritional standpoint or pushing your business forward. And you're probably now hungry, going to bed with a tummy ache because that dessert and all of that, it just stimulates that craving. But next thing you know, you get the sugar rush and then you're just hungry for more. Dessert doesn't fill you up. It's not satiary. It's not nutritious. But now you're hungry. You feel like you're lost and stuck, but maybe you're clueless why. So today we're going to break down this scenario of how eating your veggies first parallels to your creative pursuits. So jumping right in. And I'm assuming you as a kid, you've had your parents kind of on your butt about eat your veggies. It was so torture, but maybe they were onto something. I got 2 little gremlins now. My daughter, she's still at that age. She's almost 2 where she's not hit her picky stage yet, but my son, super picky. It's like pulling teeth to get this little turd to eat his vegetables. And I get that, but the veggies are the most important part. And so within the scenario I'm building, let's break down what the vegetables are, the sides are, as well as the dessert, and how this parallels you to your creative business. So you can start thinking wow, am I focusing on the veggies first? Am I focusing on the sides? Am I focusing on the dessert first? Where should I be prioritizing my time, my effort, my energy, and my focus? Maybe I got things twisted right now and I'm not putting the right things at the top of my plate. So the veggies, the non-sexy side, nor the tastiest thing on your plate. Definitely not the sexiest, definitely not the tastiest, but maybe the most colorful. I don't know, but the veggies to me within your creative business, these are the top projects or tasks that you should be focusing on that drive the biggest results in your creative pursuits. And this is like the primary focus of what the Q2 Side Hustle Bootcamp is all about focus, prioritization, and productivity. And you're going to be lacking focus, prioritization, and productivity if you keep going for the desserts first. That's the foundation. But focusing on the veggies first, while it may not be sexy, while it may not be super tasty, these are going to be the projects and tasks that move your business forward and free you up later for the fun stuff on your plate, like dessert. Anyone? So when you eat your veggies, then you get dessert. It's so true. It's so true. And like, I highly relate to this. So examples for me that like I need to be eating my veggies first. These are the examples that move my business forward that I should always put top of mind and top priority. So number one, I'm going to write this one down as writing for influence, AKA this could be a little bit of copywriting. This could be outlines for a podcast episode, outlines for a YouTube live stream, emails, whether it's just my weekly normal emails or emails during the boot camp, to provide you value, but also let you know like, hey, if you found this valuable and you want to dig deep and, get more with some direct guidance and help, consider joining the boot camp with me. So blog posts I mentioned, but like caption writing, writing captions on things, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, this would go under that category of writing for influence that moves my business forward, as well as copywriting on like sales pages. Next thing that moves my business forward is student communication, serving my students. I do my best to carve out, if I don't have crazy deadlines of something that's due that affects my business, I carve out my entire morning to always get back to my students first. People in my spring program, alumni students, people in the boot camps, and then it's people within like the free Discord. It's kind of that level of service somewhere around there. But like, yeah, the students who are alumni students and current program students, they'll get top priority, then boot campers, and then free Discord people. So that's all under the bucket of serving my students and communication. Next, number 3, big picture planning. This is where I should be working on the business, not in the business. And when you're working in the business, that's when you're wasting your time with like admin stuff or like organizing your desktop. Like that's not providing significant results. So big picture planning to me is like at the beginning of the year, I plan out, okay, here's where my spring and fall programs are going to typically land. Usually like March through first week of June, as well as then like mid-September through first week of December. That's when my spring and fall 12-week program is going on. So I'm currently in a spring program and I got like Steph in here. Shout out to Steph, but it's also my boot camps. I have quarterly boot camps that are Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 that are all on specific topics that then flow and build off each other, but you can also do them a la carte. So like the first quarterly boot camp I planned, so it took me like 6 months to plan out all 4 of these boot camps here in 2022. But the first one is all about mindset, planning, execution, and some strategy in there. The Q2 boot camp starting this Saturday is all about focus, prioritization, and productivity through the lens of like scheduling and taking control of your time and just like self-management in general. Q3 boot camp is going to be about intentional, purposeful play, finding your voice, your style, your messaging, not your messaging, but then in Q4, it's all going to be about marketing 101, messaging, positioning, understanding the value you provide and who your work is for and how to reach them. So I plan out the entire year. And this is the big picture planning that I should be working on that moves my business forward, as well as things like planning out the events. I have 2 public speaking gigs I had in April, and that was a lot. I can't be planning 2 travels in a month like that anymore. NFT NYC, planning my schedule around this. Anything else going on throughout the year that I'll be a part of, I need to get it on the schedule. Like I should be focusing and building and planning everything around there, as well as vacations. Wifey is blocking out the calendar and forcing me to take a whole week off over Thanksgiving as we're to take the kids to the beach. That is important stuff for me. That is stuff I live, breathe, eat, shit, and die by my calendar. But those are the veggies. So overall, I want you to start thinking like, what are the veggies within your business that move your business forward? Connection isn't unstable. I hope. Let me know if you are hearing this. I'm getting a warning that my connection is unstable. Good, bad. Are we good over here? I'm closing out of a lot of things. I should be fine. But like, let me know, like, give me a thumbs up if you're in the chat and you're hearing this right now. That would let me know that I'm good to go. But yeah, I got like full bars. Audio was fine. Video was pixely. Yeah, working on understanding the best way to go about doing the video streaming. Is it through Zencaster? Is it through Riverside? Just the whole realm of video, just blurry video. Weird. I wonder what that's about. On my phone, it gives me full bars, but here on StreamYard, it's saying connection is unstable. If you're on Wi-Fi, try plugging into your router and moving closer to it. You know what? Whatever. I don't care. It's about the content. You're not just going to be watching my face and be like, oh, this video sucked because Scotty's face was blurry. You're probably most likely just listening. So it is what it is. But back to the veggies. Again, just to summarize, those are the top projects and tasks you should be focused on that drive the biggest results in your creative pursuits. So I want you to know, like, I want you to start thinking about what are your veggies? What drives your business forward? What is the most important thing that you should be focusing on that delivers the biggest results? So next up, let's talk about the sides. And I'm not going to assume everybody eats meat here. Like the world that we live in, just assuming that I'm going to offend someone. So I don't care if you eat meat. I don't care if you don't eat meat, whatever. I'm cool with it either way. I eat meat. But I'm going to call the sides a compilation of things like your protein, your starchy carbs. You know, like, hey, maybe you had a steak and potatoes, and then like the broccoli on the side is the veggies that you should be eating first. It could be you have some really good hummus and some crackers. I don't know. Hummus is beans. So, and then maybe you have like some carrots on the side. You get what I'm going here. You get what I'm trying to say. So the sides, these are projects and tasks that are important, but just not as urgent as making sure you eat your veggies first. These don't have immediate consequences if you don't eat your sides right away. But they could become as important as veggies as deadlines get closer. And you can't just push the sides around on your plate and ignore them like my kids do. Like, oh, I'm all done. Like, bro, eat your sides. Oh, I did a little bit. I'm like, no, I watch you just push that shit around, man. You're not fooling anyone. So examples for sides for me, aside from meat and potatoes, or rice or beans, whatever. But examples of sides for me would be like future looming deadlines, like launch emails, launch tasks, leading up to the boot camp. Maybe I'm a month or two out. A lot of things like make sure the sales page is updated, or make sure you have your email sequences ready to go, or your Instagram content and all that. Those originally would be B tasks, say like 2 months out. They would start to become more borderline A tasks about a month out. And then like once I'm in the thick and promotion, I'm in like the pre-launch, I'm in open cart, then there's closed cart, post-launch stuff. That's where those previous B tasks would then become A tasks. So yeah, that's like some big stuff for me. Future looming deadlines, also like speaking gigs. I had 2 conferences I was at in April. The last one was like a real bigger talk, and I had been slowly planning that one out with a lot of B tasks. Let me just work on the title. Let me work on the outline for this. And as like April approached, I was like, oh crap, I got 2 to 3 weeks out from this conference. All those B tasks became A tasks of like writing out the full outline and then creating all the slides and updating the imagery for all those, tracking down certain photos or creating graphics for specific slides. So all those B tasks became A tasks. And then things like quarterly taxes, it's not a task in January, but when March comes around and I got to submit the Q1 taxes, that B task became an A task. Or like website updates, content creation as well. So many of these become super urgent veggie level tasks, but they start off as like B tasks on my plate, things that are on the back burner. Veggies are A tasks. Those are things that you need to attack that are urgent, that have consequences. Looks like my Wi-Fi signal maybe got better. Regardless, like StreamYard just butchers the audio quality. So I really need to figure out how some of these YouTube influencers get really high quality streams. Got to figure that out. Okay, so moving onward. If you are enjoying this, selfless little plug, and you're finding this helpful, can you please consider just liking this video so more people can see it? It creates a bigger impact than you actually think by simply giving a thumbs up. And then consider subscribing to the channel if you're vibing to these weekly videos. It really means a lot to me. So moving on to the third part. Dessert. So we talked about veggies, the most important tasks that you should be doing. Then we talked about the sides. Those are the things that don't have consequences in the meantime. They can be on the back burner, but they can quickly become important with consequences. The more you put them off, or the more that deadlines approach. And now let's talk about what everybody's favorite part is, the dessert. So clearly, this is where most people, most creatives who are finding their groove, are still acting like hobbyists, tend to put their focus, their time in their taste buds. And I'll be totally honest, sometimes I'm guilty of this too. I'm like, man, I just want to draw today. Man, I just want to do this. I start to like go back to hobbyist default mode, when really it's like, man, I should be really focusing on the big things that move my business forward. And it's easy to focus on the dessert. It's tasty. It's not satiating, but it's salivating, like it hits that palate. Like sugar is basically like cocaine. I'm not saying I know what cocaine is like, but from from research and hearing articles, it's like basically like getting sugar is like that same hit that I guess cocaine brings to people and keeps you craving for more. And it doesn't fulfill you. It's just like, okay, I feel like I'm doing something productive, but really I'm not. At the end of the day, all I have to show for it is that I organized my desk, but that's not moving your business forward. So, but also, wait, what did I write here? Okay, but also they tend to be the easier tasks. So not only is it like the tasty and most fun, but it also tends to be the easiest tasks. It tricks you to feeling like you're productive. But again, like having a clean desk at the end of the day doesn't move the needle forward. In my opinion, from my experience and the people that I've talked to that are crushing it, and from what has brought me the most results over the years, and from all the stuff I study from the people out there that teach time management and productivity, dessert should come last, or ideally be delegated or eliminated if it's serving you more as a distraction versus serving you as more as like an opportunity to scale your business. So examples of some dessert for me during this season. I hate to say this, but drawing. And this is what got me in trouble before, is like drawing doesn't necessarily move my business forward through the Web 2 coaching lens, where the majority of my income and attention and students are. During this season, drawing is borderline, I would say, a dessert, but also a side, in terms of like, it's the most fun. It doesn't necessarily move my business forward like coaching would, but at the same time, it fills a void of fulfillment, purposeful play that keeps me excited, gives me something to look forward to, something that I can create for me. But now it's also becoming more of a side, as in terms of like a fun side hustle task, in terms of this NFT art lane that I've been exploring. I got an auction going today that I'm really, really proud of. And I'm realizing it's something that I really need to make time for. It's a more important task for me than organizing my desktop. So that's why I put it on that dessert side category. Kind of lives in both, but the only way I'm able to fit this in is after all my veggies and main sides are done. That's when I'll allow myself as a little sweet treat at the end of the night. Okay, it's time to draw. I get to do what's most important for me right now in terms of like tapping into that purposeful play bucket. So I will say, like, as I get deeper into this Web3 NFT art space, this is going to become quickly more into that side category instead of a dessert. So as I continue to gain more traction, build a name for this space, this is a long-term game for me. It's going to continually become a side, so I can build my name around as an artist, a creator, a collector, and a coach for not only Web 2 creatives, but also Web 3 creatives. I want to just show them and become a bridge for this new wave of opportunity where they can thrive in Web 2 in the digital world, traditional, like selling prints and marketing themselves, selling products, email lists, copywriting, but also in this Web 3 world as like a creator, collector, and an investor. So I really, really like that. But what would really be a dessert for me would be this admin work. There are a lot of distracting tasks that I should not be doing that take me away from what's most important. So things like organizing my email, uploading and editing show notes. When I was doing the podcast, I'm on a little break right now. I'm editing audio and video. Those are important things that I needed to learn in the beginning, but I need to offload those now. They take me away from what's most important in terms of coaching and finding my artistic groove. Things like scheduling travel. My wife is such a G. She takes over all my scheduling and all my travels, like for Crop Conference, for Creative South, for NFT NYC. She gets my hotels booked. She gets all my travel. If I knew shuttles or rental, whatever it is, hotel, Airbnbs, like my wife, Emily, she's really, really good at that stuff. And I'm very appreciative. And even like accounting based things I should be getting off my plate. So Emily, my wife, also handles like categorizing my expenses and is going to slowly be helping me out more with like my quarterly taxes. And then when I make that official switch to S Corp, which is taking forever with the IRS, I'm going to be getting her on board so she can learn it as I become an employee of my business and then slowly get her part-time as an employee within the business as well. So to wrap things up, we talk about veggies, we talk about sides, we talked about the dessert. What comes first? What drives your business forward? And for me, like as we land the plane in conclusion, I'm far from perfect in my business. Sometimes I catch myself focusing on, oh my God, I just spent 30 minutes like organizing my downloads folder. Why am I doing this right now when I have X, Y, and Z that are way more important? But the more I continue to like understand what the veggies are and know when to eat them, once I understand what my priorities are and when is the perfect time within my finite blocks of time to execute them, that's when my business continually grows and the path gets more clear. I got to start distinguishing what's a priority, what's a distraction. The more I get better at distinguishing the two, the more progress that I've been making. And I find when I distract myself with too much busy work, the maybe doing a side first before I eat the veggies or putting desserts first or start prioritizing the most fun things, the easiest things within my day-to-day, that's when my business tends to suffer. That's when I find myself in my biggest slumps, when I'm giving into things that I shouldn't be devoting my time to. I should be delegating. I should be eliminating. And I know for me, I personally can't tap into that next level if I don't know exactly what my veggies, my sides, and my desserts are on my plate for a season. And that plate can change each day. Maybe one day it's this veggie. The second day it's here's the next veggie. Here's the next veggie. Now this side is becoming a veggie. So, and I still find myself doing too much during the season. Even though I said no to the podcast, I'm still doing this each week. It takes less time, but still, it's just one more thing I'm doing. So I'm determining, is this a priority? Where should my priorities live? It can't all solely live in my head. That's like the final part of this. If you're just navigating each day and you think you know what your veggies, your sides, and your desserts are, and it just all lives in your head, you're asking for trouble. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying you're making it really hard on yourself right now. To me, the more things live in your head and you're just winging it and you're just trusting that you got it all figured out, but then you start finding you're forgetting tasks, you catch yourself slipping and getting distracted by going in a meaningless scroll hole, wasting too much time on Instagram and then finding yourself comparing yourself to others and then getting paralyzed. You're operating like a hobbyist. I'm guilty of this at times too, but I'm better each year where I can put myself in check. So it can't solely live in your head. That's a universal blanket statement, but I do really believe it. It's really hard to thrive when it's all in your head. Get it out in front of you. Get it organized. Take your shit seriously. Otherwise, you'll find yourself winging it, forgetting things, and just guessing. And that's what my past hobbyist self would be doing. I would just guess it and wing it. And if I forget to plan my attack or I forget to like lock down my schedule or I start overbooking and overlapping things, man, I burn myself out. I let people down. And then I let myself down. And then I let my family down because I got to work late nights to catch up on stuff because I overcommitted because I wasn't a professional. So I got to ask you, do you know what your veggies are during this season? Do you know what your sides are? Do you know what your desserts are that you shouldn't be doing or that should come as like a treat at the end of the day? Or do you find yourself focused strictly on desserts right now, pushing your veggies and sides around, pretending you're being busy versus productive? Are you lying to yourself right now just to make you feel like you're doing something? Instead of just doing something to make yourself feel like you're busy, why not take a hard look at yourself, get serious about this, and determine like what should you be busy about? What's going to push your business forward? So if you're the latter and you're the person who's focusing on desserts and just pushing your veggies and side around, and you're looking for a little guidance on knowing what to work on and when to focus on it for max results, consider checking out the Q2 3-week Side Hustlers Bootcamp. Enrollment closes tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central Time. Like you and me get to work. We get to go hard in the paint for 3 weeks together. I truly believe this is a game-changing moment. I believe it's super accessible. And I feel like in 21 days, I can help you determine your top priorities, schedule your seasons in advance, help you navigate your main projects and your top tasks, help you navigate how to plan your daily attack to get the most juice from your squeeze each day, as well as like create proven systems for knocking shit out within your limited finite bandwidth. So again, that's at Bootcamp Side Hustle. It'll be in the description. And there's a lot of students in here right now that are a part of it or have been a part of it. And then they've taken the next step with me. Like I got a couple repeat students from the Q1 bootcamp, like Mark Pilardi stands out. He'll be back on board. And then Q1 students like Britt's here, Steph's here. They took the Q1 bootcamp and then wanted to go deeper with me within the spring session. In fact, all 10 spring students right now, I cut it off at 10. I had more, but all 10 students are all from the Q1 bootcamp. So they understand it. These are designed to grow and flow and build off each other for a year's worth of accountability and measurable growth, as well as just give you the option of a la carte. If Q1 bootcamp topic didn't vibe to, that's fine. Maybe Q2 did. So if you have any questions, I'll stay around for a couple minutes. In the meantime, I really hope you found some value in this. If you have a minute, let me know what your biggest takeaway was. Or if you have questions about the bootcamp, hit me up. I would love to answer. But yeah, this is the next level of taking your creative pursuit seriously within this bootcamp. You're already investing yourself here, but if you want that extra level of guidance, like I would love to be in the trenches with you grinding. Let's see, Katie O'Neill. You just inspired me to create a goals task list with my biz partner. We are flowing with it. Talk about an inspiration, people. Absolutely. Like, what's the point of going with the flow if you have a dream of like really doing your thing full time or really excelling and scaling it to the next level? It's really hard to thrive with a sustainable business and be profitable and succeed and make a lot of impact on people and continually increase your value and impact if you're just winging it each day. Often we're doing too much. To me, I'm still doing too much, but at least I'm scheduled and have a plan. And now I'm like tracking my time again to see like, why am I doing this? This isn't serving me. And I'm in a season of like balancing two worlds of here's where I'm focusing, where my business model is at. And here's where like a side hustle is, where I'm like slowly building up over in this world too. So I can bridge the gap and help people in both lanes and connect the two. So just in that kind of season of figuring out where that's at, but I'm back from scratch. I do everything I share with you. I am doing myself. Like every day I'm determining what are my veggies? What are my sides? What are my desserts? Is this a worthwhile dessert at the end of the day? Like drawing that serves a purpose within my side hustle that makes me actually stay relevant with the creative community, whether it's Web 2 or Web 3, to let people know I'm also a creative coach who can help other creatives with his coaching. But Kyle says, prioritizing tasks is huge. I really got to grind the veggies to figure out the big picture. Yeah. And like what really stuck with me is a lot of us are working in our business. We're not working on our business. And when we're working in our business, we're so focused on the desserts, the day-to-day, the micro, creating for algorithms, defining our self-worth by how a post performs on Instagram versus working on your business, the things that move your business forward, the actual planning, but the execution. Like you can plan, set goals and shit all day. But if you don't take any action, it doesn't mean a thing, Okay. I'll stay on for like 1 or 2 more minutes in case anybody has a question. But Mark says, this reminds me of how I like to knock out artwork. I usually start with the more difficult and satisfying parts, then in the end of my favorite part. That way exactly. Do what's hard so things can be easy versus doing what's easy and making things hard. Everything you want to do is on the opposite side of doing hard things, is on the other side of doing hard things. And old me, hobbyist Scotty, he preferred to go the easy route and doing all the easy things or like saying yes to all these things that look like good opportunities, but really they were just disguised distractions. All right. With that being said, I'll let you get going. Holler if you have any questions on the boot camp. I would love to work with you. I will go out for you and I will make this a killer investment and get you ready going into the summer. So you're not like pumping the brakes and getting into that summer lull, which so many of us tend to do. Let's have a dialed in plan and community around to lift you up at the same time. So have a great day. And love you. Thanks for vibing with me. Peace.